brutally murdered the high priest. The wards in the temple have gone dead, and there's a whole bunch of Newtons that are trying to run away, blocked by Blondel and Rodan.
Well, in that case, I think we should go all murdery.
Isn't that the answer to everything?
Don't you always
Pretty
go all murdery?
No, I'm usually so.
You just beheaded Quicktail, thrown the head over to Crodan, and then Crodan had kicked the head through the door to the other Newtons, I believe.
Yep.
It's all coming back to me now.
Right, so they begin to run for it. Do you fill them full of arrows as they flee?
Yeah.
Or...
I mercilessly slaughter them. Well, we're looking for Dane, so maybe we can ask a question.
Well,
Only if you want one to cook later.
Yeah, where was Jane B? Where's the treasure?
Yeah, there is that.
And we only ask about Dane first because we like him.
Yeah. Is there any exit from this room?
Is there any exits from that room?
I think
there's
so.
a door on the opposite wall that leads into a short passage similar to the passage that you brought into the temple.
Durham lads.
One prisoner and one prisoner only.
In that case, if you're going to pursue with no mercy, Kane, it's your turn to go first.
Right, I'll just move double, so that's 8 in total. Is that this priest dude is, not with us anymore, right?
Yeah, he was beheaded and the head thrown across the room. He is definitely not with you anymore.
I hop off there. I don't need to climb down. Right.
That's what you splash into the water and then splash through the water to the other side. McLovin, you're next.
Yeah, I'll just move. What was that glowy thing on the altar?
The basin's filled with ever turbulent water, and there's a small glowing sphere of soft white light above it.
We'll investigate that later.
Right, so Kane splashes through the water, as does McLovin. Blondel.
I shall attempt to grapple the one nearest me. Yeah, the one right in front of us. I failed it.
You grab for him, but he dodges out of the way. And next up, you got Tavish.
Right, I'm going to follow Kane and I'm going to move double. So does that mean I come out the square ahead?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you leap out of the water like the man from Atlantis. There's a theatre.
Flapping his way.
Look from Atlantis.
Rodan.
Crodan will put an arrow into the one in front of him.
Okay. You shoot. 6 to the left leg.
And it's an impale, and suddenly my dice are working.
Yeah, it's suddenly an impale. It screams and goes down hard as you shoot him through the back of the leg.
We've got one prisoner.
Down with the disabled left leg. Excellent shooting, Crodan. These guys all run away as fast as they possibly can. The Duke has a whole bunch of his men outside and all of his mercenary Newtlings in the water in the river.
So we can let a few escape because they're going to get hacked up when they run outside.
That is the end of the round. Kane.
Okay, so I guess I'll move up. Can I get line of sight on if I move there? Do you think I get line of sight of the one that's off to the left?
You can, but you will have shooting into melee.
I'll disrupt. Go on. You've won us over.
Success. Power v power roll. Oh, that's a definite overcome. Oh, and he takes 3 damage. Nasty. In the head, he goes unconscious.
Now I can kill the one in front of you because I've got a one that's actually unconscious. This question.
Considering these have been advertised to you as hardened terrorists, they seem to be going down very easily.
Almost as if they might not be the hardened terrorists that we're being led to believe they are. But who knows,
Oh, I'm getting an interesting Roll20 error. There is not a server available to handle your request. I'm trying to view how many hit points they have. Right. So anyway, he goes unconscious as you zap him in the head with your mind powers. He's got a broken heart and a bashed head. McLovin.
I'm just going to move across.
Right, splashing through the water, a small fish darting in all directions. You jump out the side. Blondel.
Right. The one down from me, I'll take a swing at him.
Right arm disabled. Right, go ahead. You take a swing at him. All you can do is attempt to dodge.
Oh my god. Very dead Newland if he doesn't dodge.
Oh, Roll20 finally has a server, it looks like. Right, so he fails to dodge. You kill him as you sever his left leg. He dies. Okay. Well done, Blondel. Mr. Quacktavish.
Presume we're chasing the rest of them.
I believe so. You see a small room similar to the one you came, and hanging open what looks to be the inside of a secret door leading into a cave with a running Newtling. What do you want to do, Andy?
That's as far as I can move.
Yeah. Right. So flap, flap, flap. You flap across the marble surface of the temple and then swoosh, swoosh, swoosh as you run through the dried reeds that comprise the carpet in the sleep area. Cruden.
I'll finish. Oh, we're trying to capture one, aren't we?
Well, we've
You
got two.
Can I shoot that one at the back there, trying to get up the door?
Again, you'll be shooting into melee. You'll get over the top of Quacktavish, but you have a chance
just
of...
shout duck.
Yeah. Oh, you just shout to me?
Yeah. All
Yeah.
that.
To be fair, all of your shots this session have been very successful. So
And if you hit Blondel, it's no big.
Coming friendly
job.
crit.
Right, that's less than half. So yeah, your shot strikes true, hits him in the right arm, doing 6 damage. Some is absorbed by his fish skin armor and his skin, but he still looks quite badly hurt as his arm hangs limply.
Come back here, you scaly little bastard.
They disappear into the darkness on the other side of this crate, and that is the end of the round. Kian.
did you say if that guy in the north room is dead?
He has expired. But you do have an unconscious one and one on the floor with a disabled leg who's trying to crawl away. Forsaking all of his weapons, he tries to crawl away from Crodan, one pathetic square, slipping in the blood of his comrades ahead of him.
Right, well, I'm going to move here and begin to try and bind the one that's got a made unconscious in the head. And just ignore the other one. I'm sure you'll... I don't want to... I'm not just going to kill him. He's on the floor. It feels bad.
He's like, as he's like crawling away, dragging his leg behind him. He's got an arrow literally stuck in his leg.
So yeah, I'll bind the one at the bind him, and then on my following turn, I'll attempt to like first aid him a bit and stuff.
Okay, McLovin.
7 run up and look at the chest. I'll be part of the party, and I'll move into the room.
Then you go loot the chest if you want. If you want to go loot the chest, loot the chest.
No. It's a party thing, just in case. I'll just move into that room there.
Okay.
And keep an eye on the door in front of
Blondel.
Skin in the blood, fall over.
I'll run.
I'm right behind you, Dave.
Yeah, don't trip over the duck. So you run blindly into the cave.
Well, not too far into the cave. Why is it dark in here? Like,
Yeah, it's black in it. So you sprint into the cave.
But be careful in case someone was playing with Lego in the entrance.
Yeah, who would do that? Is right, Dave. You run into a room filled with crates. There's blood and mucus trailed across the floor. You can hear from that entrance to the south that there's a bunch of running Newtons due to the flapping and the screaming, the awful screaming. The room stinks of fish, and there's a secret door behind the crate in the back wall that you ran through.
I continue moving then. I think I got 2 more moves left. Right.
It's dark down that tunnel. If you remember, you haven't got a torch out, and it's dark in this cave.
Give us 2 seconds. I'll be right behind you with me fire blade.
Yeah, that'll light the place up. Mr. Quacktavish.
Since this is all like one sort of epic period of movement,
It is.
so I'm kind of like frozen on one foot at the moment. Just as that Newtling sort of crawls across the floor, can I just sort of look over my shoulder and go, where do you think you're slithering off to, laddie?
If you want to attack me, you're at plus 40%.
No. I'm going to move double and gun with Dave.
Dave, as Andy flaps into the cavern, his fire blade lights up the interior of the cavern with flickering light. There's just enough light to illuminate ahead. There you go. You see the living Newtons running like buggery into a cavern ahead of you.
I do hope that joins onto the one where the manticore is.
What a way to go.
That would be so funny.
Prodan.
I will follow.
Right, you run out into the cave and you see them running towards the safety, in inverted commas, of the river, where there's a whole bunch of well-armed mercenaries and Newtlands awaiting them. And finally the Newtlands get to move and they start to disappear into the darkness again.
And fight, you moist, slippery bastard.
Okay, that is the end of round. Kim, we're back to you. Do you want to roll your first aid roll as you bind the head of this Newtland? Right. So you successfully healing a D3 hit points. 3. It comes round.
Nice.
You regret that.
Looks up at you as you're wrapping a bandage round and nailing over him and starts screaming and that noise that they're making. The one with the impale through the leg crawls pathetically 1 meter away from you, Ken, leaving a trail of blood and mucus.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
McLovin.
I'm going to move down to the one that's crawling away, and I'm going to try to just incapacitate him. And can I just grab him and like bind his legs together with some rope or something out of my backpack?
Yeah, you can make a grapple check. He's at plus 40%. Right, that's a success. Right, you grab him and pin him. So you hold him down. He whines pathetically as you begin to tie him up. Blondel.
I shall continue the chase.
Ah, right, Dave, you move to there, or rather, you move to there. You get to there. Please roll me a scan roll, David. Success. Right, at the very last minute, you see cord or wire or something strung across the cavern in front of you.
I shall jump over it, shouting at McTavish, watch out, there's a tripwire here.
Okay, so you roll.
Oh, very much.
I'm going to say a jump roll. You can have a bonus of 20% because it's quite an easy thing to do. So you've spotted it on the run. You have to roll because even though it's quite low, it's about shin height. You only spotted it in the run and the lighting was bad. So you go to jump over it and fail and hit it and trip. It doesn't cause you any damage, but you go face first, landing just there. And ending your movement for this turn. Quick Tavish, there's a quick shout of look out, there's a tripwire, and then you see Blondel go arse over tit.
Right, in that case, right, I want to get a sling stone out of me pouch and stick it in the end of me beak, and then move me fire blade into me offhand.
Right.
And send a sling stone down at that Newtland before it gets away from us.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Just in front of Blondel. You can actually see where he's tripped over. His foot is still over the top of the tripwire. It's not a particularly fancy or well-concealed trap. It was just that he was running a full tilt when he spotted it at the last minute.
Obviously, with him being prone, I don't want to hit him.
No, you'll not hit him. And in fact, now that you know it's there, it's quite easy to just step over. So take a shot. Oh, success. Yeah, you hit him in the right leg. They're not dodging as they're just running for it. That is -4. He falls prone. You can freely look disapprovingly down at Dave if you like.
No, I'm just going to look down at Blondel and go, you want a wing? Because I can't exactly give my hand up, can I?
You can't, no. Not when you're holding the fire blade. Crun.
Look at this and sigh as I move forward and say, what are you doing down there?
Just felt like a quick trip. Ah!
I love how he dived on top of the tripwire to save us from it.
Right, so you can get a shot from there, Earl. That's not a problem. You can just see that Newtland, but he's fallen to the ground. And now
Wrong
he's
with this
dead.
character. What?
The remaining Newtlands, our little friend can't crawl off. Some of them emerge out of what you presume is one of the other caves. There's a loud shout of, "There they are! Loose!" There's the twanging of bows. There's the screaming of Newtlands comes echoing down the tunnel ahead of you. New round. What do you want to do?
I'm going to pull him up against the wall and set him upright.
You'll never get that look, Clay.
Do you know how hard it is to get blood and mucus out of bloody temple marble?
And I just hear them start talking.
That's
Hey,
all right.
no one already had a prisoner.
That's
Don't make me feel guilty about my actions.
I am just making sure that I'm clear in my head who's done what to whom. That is all. Blondel, you're lying face down on the floor, looking a little foolish.
Up and I think I should search these chests.
You find one that's not nailed down, so you just lift it up, and inside it's a crate full of dried fish. Are we coming out of combat now?
I think we should drop out of combat and stalk carefully forward so we don't get shot by our own people.
You stalk carefully forward.
Didn't say a thing. I'll trot as far as the cave entrance.
Earl, as you walk forward, you spot another one of those thong traps.
I'll say, quiet.
Andy has not spotted it, but you come up short as Earl shouts.
Well, I can't exactly come up long, can I? I'm only about 3 foot now.
That is a good point.
But thank you for the warning.
So you sneak up the edge of the cave. The sounds of fighting have died down. However, you just see a lot of Newtlands with arrows sticking in them.
I'll shout, Divin shout, it's us.
They recognise your voice and they hold their thumbs up in the universal side of acknowledgement.
Tell them, lads, didn't go in that cave down there because there's a manticore who really, really likes you.
We'll just check the northern room and see what's in that chest.
Well, we're going to have to search for Daney.
There's 2 other cave entrances, so there's got to be some other doors somewhere.
Okay, well, we should just ask this Newland where Dan is. And then we go there.
Yeah, they have a short conversation and Duke Newland saying, "He knows see Dane, not coming temple."
Must be one of the other caves, I guess, then.
Ask if there's any other doors in the temple.
I think there might have been one in the top room that was somehow mentioned last.
Shall we go have a look in?
Yeah, I mean, we can go have a look.
Right, so what do you do with this Newton lad?
Just leave him bound up with the squad outside for now, I guess.
Yeah, and they are not to kill him.
Everybody comes back into the temple. Dave, do you open any more of those crates or do you just leave them?
I'll just leave them.
This floor's covered with dried reeds. There's a large fishing net drying on the east wall and several small stacks of dry fish lay against the north. The small chest is there, obviously, you can see it.
Is there anything under the sacks that are there? Check the wall for any, like...
Well, now that you know what you're looking for, there is a secret door revealed in the northwestern corner.
Okay, well, go over there and have a peek.
Just there, look. Slightly
Okay.
different texture to the normal wall.
I'll get my shield out and then try and peer in.
Where's everybody else? Bracy, you're up the chest, correct?
Yeah, I'll give it a search and stuff.
I'm going to head up to the room where Kane and them are.
Right. Have you made your devise roll then?
Success.
You look over the chest and at the back you see a small hidden hatch. It looks as if it's kind of like a safety switch rather than the actual trap. Flicking that switch disables it.
All right, I'll flick it and then we'll open the chest.
You push the chest open. Inside the lid is gummed, some kind of trap mechanism. There's a bladder of some kind attached to the lock.
Okay, we'll stay away from that.
Inside is a purple cloth pouch, 3 yellow arrow feathers in a small wooden box, and a ring. Also an uncut gem and 2 wheels.
Right, I have a feeling the pouch. What does it feel like?
A small spherical object and a chain.
Ooh, something like a necklace or something to be worn.
I don't know, it's a tiny pouch. You could have looked inside, but no, you have to like feel blindly inside just to see if there's anything in there to bite your finger, I guess.
No, I was feeling outside before I sit my hands in. Okay, I'll have a look inside.
Yeah, it is a necklace, a chain of silver with a white spherical stone.
Do all these away then, carefully. I'll secret the that uncut gem. I'll have that. Being a sneaky bastard, and we'll just pat the rest away.
Can I trust a trickster, can you? I mean, it's in the name.
And then we will go up to Kane and we'll see if we can get this door open.
Right, it takes a minute or two feeling about Kane, but you've got familiarity with the locking mechanism, so silently it sort of clicks open and going into another cave, presumably the most northerly of the caves.
Peer on in. I'll light a torch if I need to.
I might know waggle me sword through the gap so we can have a look.
Yay! Be my guess.
It's a natural cave with a lead off the west and to the east. There you go. There's the natural cave that you see. You maybe hear the sound of water nearby.
All right. Well, I'll let the lads know.
Unusual. It seems to be coming more from the right-hand side of the cave than the left.
Well, that would make sense because the left-hand side's going to lead back the river, isn't it?
Check left first just to make sure that is the case, and then make sure there's no other passages leading off that way.
Yeah, you look round, the tunnel quickly turns east and continues on, presumably towards the
I guess we'll check the west afterwards then.
Y-shaped tunnel. One slopes down. The junction to the left slopes down, and the junction to the right ends in a solid wall of what looks like collapsed rubble. Right-hand fork, it ends in a bunch of collapsed rubble there.
How do a pinch of the proverbial Daney is behind there somewhere?
It's probably somewhere in that direction, yeah.
And as you move forward, you can see and hear by the light of your fireblade, it opens up into a large underground pool. It slopes down and then becomes smooth. Because you're a duck, it looks like it's spread from an underground spring. You have some experience with this kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
The rock that's down by the shore is quite a steep angle, and several small flat rocks and some small flint pools are on the floor. On the east wall hangs a small fishing, and you can see several pale cave fish swimming around inside the pool.
I should trot back and tell the lads, shouldn't I?
You should, yeah.
I'll get through and look around for tracks before he destroys them.
That sounds like actually a really great idea.
Right, you get through. Can you roll a listen?
Oh, yes. My ears are on.
92. Damn it, you hear movement coming from the tunnel to the west. It sounds like several persons attempting to be stealthy, creeping forward.
It could be bad guys, or it could be some of the Duke's men. We don't know.
I will move here and hide,
You move against the wall and you hide, yeah?
and then I'll start to sneak round the corner and have a look.
You see a bunch of mutants come out, slings at the ready,
Uh-huh.
and seeing you and you alone, fire a quick slingshot at you. Whoa, that actually succeed for the right leg, which probably isn't going to even pierce your armour. It clatters off your right leg, and you hear the word Newton for fuck it.
I shall charge towards them then.
Well, you get to go first then.
Oh, champion. Right. I shall advance to there and belt that Newton.
Right, with
That's all right.
a savage duck cry, you charge forward, swing your fireblade.
There you go.
10 damage to the left leg. Cut deeply into its right leg. It falls to the ground.
Next.
Right, Cruden. You just see Quack Tavish take off across the floor, run round the corner, hear a cry of pain. The
I'll step out.
noise of a fireblade. Oh, you shoot it in the tail, the delicious bit, 9 damage. That's quite a lot. Still standing though. Such is life, Kane.
I'll push around up here just to see what's going on.
You see 2 badly injured Newtlings and Andy with a berserker look on his face. McLovin.
I charge to there. So I've had enough of this shit.
Blondel runs around the corner. The 2 in the front shout something panicked in Newtlands. The other 2 turn and attempt to flee.
Oh, you don't.
There's a water rune scribed in the centre of the north wall, tunnel to the north and a tunnel leading to the west. And he shouts something. The back 2 attempt to flee. The front 2 turn and attempt to flee. 1 has a damaged leg and is down though. And round, Mr. Quacktavish.
Stand and fight, you bastards.
Right, so leaping over the downed one, you flap across the room. Was that a full run? It was, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm just defending.
Yeah. Okay, I got you, Croydon.
Right, I will shoot. Yeah, there's something wrong with my dice. They're working.
Right, you nail it to the floor. Without a problem, it dies. Kane?
If they're going to run out to the other Newlands, then I don't really need to do anything. I'll check up the right side just to fully check out that water area, see if there's any crowline check tracks.
No, he didn't have time.
Flickering torchlight reveals a sturdy metal door, which is not something else you've seen in this area, leading into
Right.
another cavern with kind of like sandy floor.
I'll stay put for now, as I'm talking to Crowdown about tracking or whatever.
McLovin?
I go after the Newtlands, same as Ruala does.
Newtling herding for beginners.
Right, you run across to the Newtlands.
Screaming at them.
The Newtlands squeal and run.
We'll just wait for the twang of arrows from outside.
Yeah, if you stop, there are, again, more twangs of arrows, more screams, and it lasts for a few seconds. Stop.
I'll look over my shoulder, nudge McLovin, and point at that door.
Okay, you see the door, you can see further in now. What, you never. The tunnel slopes down to an extremely sturdy metal door. Just inside the room, you can see 8 dead humanoids in various states of decay, apparently human. Inside are pieces of armor, swords, and spears. On the opposite side of the wall is scrawled in trade talk, enter quick and bar the way.
There's a secret passage, potentially?
The floor is like a strange colour dirt.
Are there skellies in one particular place, or the dead peeps, or are they all over the place?
No, they're scattered about.
And do any of the bits of armour look like Danes?
None of them look like Danes. They look quite old, though. They don't look like they've died violently.
Room feels a bit trappy to me.
Get Bobbin to do detect magic if you want. That would ease you in that regard. I mean, I have detect traps, I think, don't I? That's detect traps, because it's a gift. See if I can detect if this feels trappy.
You reach into yourself and you call upon the power of humour, and briefly your eyes flash black, as if black ink had poured into them, and yes, the whole thing does feel a bit trappy to you.
He's doing that thing again.
Definitely a bit trappy.
From the doorway, can we see any exit to that room?
Something in the room detects magical in the centre of the room, beneath the sand floor, quite a way down.
Bobbin will communicate that to the party.
There's a beastie. I bet you there's a beastie. You've seen trapdoor spiders, haven't you?
Can I have a scan of the floor in front? Does it look like this at any point there's something popped out? You know, it's like thrown earth about from like a circular point.
No, it doesn't look like it's anything popped out.
As a plan, right? If you recall how I fished earlier, I'm going to go and get a dead newtling, tie it to a piece of rope, and chuck it into the middle of the room. Monsters.
Fair enough.
You do that. It also occurs to you that the cavern complex and the temple seems a lot construction to be done by a bunch of what are apparently very weak Newtlands.
occurs to me that they've possibly moved in.
Potentially, yeah.
Unless you're taking any further action, Earl goes off, brings back a dead Newtland, ties rope around its waist and hurls it as hard as he can into the room. Waits several seconds and then slowly drags it to the sand, leaving a trail of blood
Now-
and mucus.
I'm going to use my hunter's instinct to make the lure move like a newtling who is wounded and crawling for the exit.
Okay.
See, fly fishing.
You do this for several minutes, and but nothing happens.
Either this newtling isn't very good, or there's not a
Metadonic
creature in there.
creature?
It's probably magic. From now on, we bring tools.
All right, can we see a peek inside and look at the side of the door? Is there any bars lying by the side or on the floor or anything?
Yeah, there's a bar just off to the left-hand side against the wall.
Well, this isn't finding us Dane, so I figure we look around for Dane, and if we don't find him, we come back.
Yeah. Do you want to track near where the water is on the right side, just
Yeah.
to see if there's any tracks that go that way?
I'll track up here.
Okay, make a track and roll. Right, you do indeed find, not tracks as such, because it's cave floor, but you find evidence that this place is visited quite regularly. Due to your nature as a hunter, you assume this is where the Newtlands would come and fish. That would explain the tools and the nets. There's lots of white cave fish in there. Seems quite a burgeoning habitat. So,
Oh, we've got a prisoner, haven't we? I'll go and talk to the prisoner.
okay, you go and talk to the prisoner.
Hello there, lad. Have you seen a big fella like?
They no see Daney. He's not here.
Ask him about the door.
What's that door like?
The best you can get from the trade tongue from him is it's where we get the prisoners from.
Get prisoners from in there.
Yes,
Where are the prisoners?
in there, and then we keep them in there. And then he looks for the words and his rooms with sticks across.
Cell.
Yes.
So that's your prison.
No, prison at the back.
At the back of where? Of that room?
The back of the hostel. The temple, you call it the temple.
There'll be a secret door behind that cauldron.
Behind the altar?
Yes. Please, no kill.
Show me how to open the secret door and we'll let you free.
He leads you all back into the main room.
We didn't actually search this place, did we?
Look, we could always ask Stevie if he knows what the metal is.
Your term for it's aluminium.
I really don't want to loot the temple.
The Newton goes to the back, presses a secret catch, and there is indeed a secret door behind the altar.
We'll let you go once we've finished in the place, but I'll make sure they don't hurt you.
Steve stands on the altar with no fear and peers into the bottom and he says, "That water looks primal.
What do you mean by that?
It's ancient water. It reaches deep down. There's great runic significance.
Is it valuable?
To some, it's worth all of the money in the world."
It's bloody
Shit.
dangerous is what it is. It's in a temple that isn't to our god and we're standing on the altar. Let's not push our luck.
Yeah, Steve's just, like, you're all being careful, like moving round the altar, not touching it. So Steve just clambers up on it, looks over the top of the ball. It's almost as if Steve hasn't learned fear, so he just doesn't do it. But you notice he doesn't stick his finger in the water or anything.
Go and have a look through this secret door.
You poke your head through the secret door.
Yeah, I'm gonna let like the stealthy people go up ahead, do their thing.
Right, you start to push the door open, and you hear somebody say something in Newton. Nobody speaks Newton.
I'll push the door all the way up and go, hi, while I'm pointing the boat, whoever it is.
You push the door open, you see 8 reed mats placed around the room, spare tridents, nets, and a small shield, and darts stacked against the east wall. There are 3 Newtlands who are sitting casually. They look like They were just starting to reach for weapons.
I'll go,
3 doors, one to the north, one to the south, one to the east. What do you want to do, guys?
I'll turn around to the Newtlands and in trade talk, I'll say, now listen, lads, if you surrender, we're going to give you to the Duke, and he will decide what to do with you. If you resist, we're going to kill you and feed you to a manticore. Quickly and wisely. Made it.
So they say intruders, but they don't move to attack, and they slowly start batting across the room.
Don't run. Like I say, you've got 2 choices. You can surrender or you can die. You need to choose quickly.
They stop reaching for the weapons. They hold hands up and say, no, kill. Let us go. Where's Quicktail?
Right, come with us and we'll drag them outside to the other Newtland.
Right, well, when you drag them out into the main temple...
I was going to say, but I will try to avoid, A, them getting anywhere near the altar, and B, noticing the dead body that we've kicked off the altar.
Yeah, well, there's blood everywhere and a dead body lying at the bottom, so they'll let out a Canaan wail and clasp their hands onto their heads and sort of rock backwards and forwards in some kind of mourning. Then you drag them outside?
Yeah. Right. Have you seen, ask them, I'll turn around to the other Newtons, ask them if they've seen Dane.
Okay. They interrogate them, and he says, no, Crodan, they have not seen Dane. They say they don't know what you're talking about. Can we kill them now?
No, don't kill these ones either. But if they try to escape, you can chop them up.
He gives a big newty smile and prods one viciously in the ribs.
Really mean don't kill them unless they try to escape. I'm not saying kill them. Right, we'll go back to where we were and we'll check these doors.
You go into the room. There's a pile of Newtland weapons and armour, a small shield, flint darts, 2 sets of queer bolly limb armour, size for Newtlands.
Anyone good with doors? I'll look at Gracie.
The door in the north wall has a heavy bar across.
Well, shift the bar, let's have a look. I'll open the one to the north.
You lift the heavy bar, and inside you see a bunch of cells. And as the door opens, you hear somebody saying trade talk. It's about time. You need to feed us, you goddamn sons of bitches.
Do we recognise the
What
voice?
did you want to eat? We've got like a couple of sandwiches maybe, or plenty of Newtland tails. Got tons of Newtland tails.
Thank God. Thank God. Inside several of the cells, there are different beings. The one in the very top right-hand corner bears the tattoos of one of the Praxian tribes. One to the left has what appears to be mostly Sartorite tattoos, but he also has a moon tattoo. Breaks out in a big grin and says, thank God. It's nice to see you. Some humans around here. The one on the right, he is obviously a Sundoma. He has sun tattoos and he's got blonde hair, dark tan skin, a worshipper of Yelm. And the most southern one looks like he is from Pavis area.
Right, lads. Any of you seen a big fella called Dane?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Have you finally come to set us free? We went in that damn room and then we got stuck in there. The Newtlands came out. They were going to ransom us, send us up to Pimpers.
Oh, horrible place, Pimpers. The Sartorite, I'll be like, what clan are you from, Lee?
He says I'm from Lunatosh. I escaped the Lunar Boot and came down here to find work as a mercenary. It's nice to see you, cousin. I don't suppose you could let us out of here.
Possibly once I've worked out who you are. Just stay put. Turn around to Sundoma and look them up and down. Does he look like a Sundoma?
Yeah.
One of them's a Praxian, isn't he?
Yeah, that's the one in the very north. Can
I tell which tribe he's from?
He's sitting and he's got his head on his knees. You recognise the haircut and the tattoos. He's a High Llama rider. Slowly raises his head and in trade talk he says, So you're not opening the bars, so we go from one ransom to another, eh?
Oh, the other one's the Pavis guy, isn't he?
Yeah. He leans against the bars. So I guess our ransom is not paid then, huh?
We didn't come for you guys. But tell you what, we'll let you go, sit outside, and then you can come back to speak to our gaffer.
At the very top, there is a skeleton that looks like it's been there for a very long time, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Command cast attack magic again with Bobbin.
Apparently there's something magical in the cell with the skeleton.
Go have a look, I guess.
Not to be a dick, lads, but I don't fucking know you. And I'm not having a load of swords at me back that I don't trust. So you go outside, you wait with the mercenaries. You'll find your gear, you can have it.
And you're not charging in ransom then?
I don't see why I should charge ransom for you, lads, do you? You can just owe us a favour in the future if we ever need today.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, don't worry, son. The grey dogs know how to call in a debt.
While they're leading them all outside, can I surreptitiously sneak into the other cell and have a look for that magical thing, whatever it is?
Scrape through the dirt on the floor. You find a small crystal. As you pick it up and hold it in your hand, it slowly changes colours.
I'll just pop it in me pouch for later.
Got them all out, Earl. Just as you're coming back in, the south door opens, and standing in the doorway is a dirty, grey, purplish green dragon newt warrior. He's fully armoured and has his clan with him at his side.
What?
Shit.
Bad action.
What happened? What did I miss? All right, lad.
Stands there, and he looks rather surprised when he sees you as he walks and ducks to get his enormous 7-foot frame through the doorway. He looks you up and down, specifically at everybody except Davy. I have heard of you. Everyone has heard of you. It is a surprise to see you here. As you can see, he has difficulty forming the words as he hasn't had the dragon newt surgery to realign his jaw and voice box.
All I'll tell him is we've got no call with him. We're just trying to find, Dane, our boss.
It may be your right action that you search for this person, but I have not seen him. Perhaps my master has seen him.
May we ask your master?
I will inquire if this is right action on his behalf. The room that he's in is the guest quarters. Fresh reeds are thickly spread on the floor. The walls are hung with large fishing nets. Cover the bleak stone. There are clustered ornamental tridents on the south wall. Painted on the east wall is the 5 eyes symbol. He walks to the southern door and raps on the door. A strange draconic tongue comes from behind the door, to which he replies, and he says, "My master is curious to see the split-souled ones. He will speak with you." The door opens and out steps a large tailed priest. His spines and wattles are the colours of the rainbow.
All right there, boss.
Not saying anything, Kane? Blondel?
I'm letting these guys handle the situation. I don't need to add anything to it.
I just bow to the priest.
Right, he strides forward. Rue Ajit, for that is his name, steps into the room. He bares his teeth, to only which you can assume he either wants to eat you or he's doing the dragon equivalent of a grin. He intently stares at all of you except Blondel and Bobbin. He speaks in even more heavily accented trade tongue. "This is my right action that I shouldn't meet you. I have spoken to several of my clutch brothers. We have talked about you." And then he sort of intently stares at each of your chests. And he just says, "This is fascinating."
I have to be honest, right? We don't really understand the whole thing that happened there. And we're absolutely mortally terrified of and respectful of your race. But, yeah, do you mind telling us what you're doing in, like, a Newtland temple?
He says, "We are guests of Quicktail. I am interested, for he selflessly set this place up as a home for his lost brethren. He called them bachelors. I don't have reference for this name. And I wanted to understand his soul, why it is right action that he should take in strays of people who have nowhere to go, why this gives him any pleasure, or why this makes his soul any lighter."
Oh, his soul's pretty light now.
This refuge, as he calls it, he takes in others of his race that are lost. He does not know them, but he cares for them and feeds them. This is alien to us. Ruwajit, now that he's speaking to Ziz, just stands behind him like a big bouncer, looking threatening, not even reaching for his weapons, but he's got this air about them where you don't think he needs to. He intently watches you all.
Now, you see, our right action was to come here to rescue a friend, and there's some prisoners here, and unfortunately, we killed Quicktail.
He looks at you, cocks his head to one side, and says, well, this may be your right action, or maybe your wrong action. It would reflect upon your soul. And then he sort of gazes deeply again at you, and he says, since your souls have entered the eternal cycle, this may affect you in your lives to come. And then he stares at you. This I will find interesting to watch. Why, it is right action for such as you to kill someone who only wanted to help lost members of his race.
You put it eloquently in such a way that makes us feel the action is questionable. But we must find our missing friend, for he is part of our clutch.
We have not seen anyone matching the description that you have given us.
I have someone that you will like to meet, for I sense you are curious.
Who is this one?
He is a guy called Steve the Door.
Oh no!
This person is a door?
He used to be a door. Now he's a little man made of stone. It's a curio that your mind will understand better than ours. For you are attuned to the cycle of the world in a way that we are not.
He looks at you and goes, or maybe you are. And looks again deeply, as if he's looking inside you.
Come, let me introduce you to Steve the Door. He is in the next room. I will go with these and introduce them to Steve the Door, and I figure we can just leave them chatting forever.
Right, so
and we can go off and do stuff.
G and Rue go through in the other room. G looks down impassively upon the body of Quicktail, and he turns to you and says, it is unknown action whether I would have enjoyed speaking with Quicktail more. I do not understand. I know I am overdue to meet my people. Suddenly springs back into your mind that there was a bunch of dragon youths looking for their missing priest, and they seemed rather aggravated about it.
Oh, yeah. Funny you should say that. We bumped into your guys earlier on, I think. And they were quite upset and were looking for you. Not that I think they were overly upset, but you know how it is.
He says, my cast is the one for knowledge. We expand the knowledge of our race, and perhaps it was wrong action for me to stay so long, but this place was so fascinating.
Oh, then you're going to enjoy my little friend here. Steve, this is a very nice dragon man who you are going to be extremely polite to.
Steve looks up and goes, what is that? And then Sajid looks down at him and says, what is that?
It used to be a god. Not sure what he is anymore.
He does that staring thing where he's been looking with his unblinking reptilian eyes at anything, and he looks at Steve for just a second and then tears his head away with a shocked look, as shocked a look as you've ever seen on a dragon youth before. And he says, it is my right action that we must speak. Urgently, Steve the Door.
I've got a god and a dragon youth to have a chat. This could be. I really want to sit in the room with them for the rest of the time just to hear what dribble they come out with. But I really need to find it.
Yeah, and then they leave you alone. Rue Ajit stands in front of the door, sort of. If your name's not on the list, you're not getting through.
That's fair enough.
All right, there's another door in here. We'll best check that out.
There is another door. You open the door, it opens into a corridor. The corridor has two doors in it to the north side.
By the way, lads, I'm sure there will be no consequences of having a god talk to a dragon.
No.
I'm absolutely
none
sure
whatsoever. This passage is so nondescript, it doesn't even have a description in the module. That's how nondescript the passage is.
Well, if it doesn't have a description, it won't have a trap. Check the notes. Sorry.
What about the rest of you? Because Earl's done a lot of talking trying to get you killed by dragon youth. Well, actually, sorry, that was Bracy. We outnumber you and we're not afraid of you. And I was going, yes, we bloody well are afraid of you.
We're bloody terrified,
Well-
mate.
My opinion is that we were sent because we thought they were terrorists, and we should kill them because they've took our friend. So I haven't really got an opinion and a need to talk to dragon newts that seem to just talk in weird tongues, and that's why we have people like Crodan who likes to talk, and McLovin that is good at talking.
I've noticed there's a difference there that I just
Statistically.
like to talk and he's actually good at it.
Have a look around. Just do the southern door.
Floor's covered with reeds, and there are various things stacked against the wall. A round hole in the floor in the southwest corner. 2 chests in the northeast corner of the room along the east wall. Both are open. Both stacked high with what looks like it's the gear of the prisoners. It's the swords, there's armor.
Well, and just take note of that. We don't need to take it just yet because there'll be a while
Yeah,
to take that.
And just
So.
hanging along the pegs along the east wall are 2 sets of human-sized leg manacles made of bronze. The keys hang from them on leather thongs. Stacked along some of the east wall is dry firewood, about 50 logs or so, and in the southeast corner is the hole. It's got a bucket on a string next to it. Along the south wall are 5 large chests, open, most of them full of tools, flint chipping tools, net making, snares, small game traps, cooking utensils, several flint steel set, watertight skin pouch, etc. Some rope, some armor and tools, a various selection. It looks like a lot of the stuff they've collected.
Is there a drill?
Tools of all types. Some armor and tools will have a drill. Along the west wall in the south corner, 6 crates of dried fish. You can tell because they smell really bad of fish. And in the centre of the floor are 4 reed mats.
So we've probably got 4 newtlings through the north door.
Right, let's try the other door.
Right, you push the door open, it creaks. And in this room, there are various barrels, crates, weapons, and cloaks around the room. More smells of fish. 2 newtlings lie sleeping upon reed mats in the centre of the room. They've got their a little sleepy. I haven't heard you so far.
Wakey, wakey, boyos.
Right, sorry, 3 newtlings are asleep on reed mats in the centre of the room.
Rualan, do you want to wake them up or?
I could be persuaded if you would like me to. Do you want me to wake them up in the usual fashion?
Does that mean chopping them to pieces? No,
Basically,
we can
yes.
probably take them prison.
Oh,
And
one of them,
also, there's a chance that murdering newtlings might set off our new friend.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to set them off, you're going to set them off, aren't you? Because there's literally dead newtlings scattered throughout the, well, what you thought was a temple, but it was apparently a home for lost newtlings.
Good vacancies.
How do you feel about that, Kane? Honourable combatant that you are.
I would like to point out we were told there were terrorists going in. Well, not terrorists, but presumably bad people. And we were supposed to kill them all.
Yeah, apparently they were fighting with the Duke's newtlings.
I am a man, I work for people.
You work
I
for
obey
people,
that
but you and Andy, you're all about the truth rune.
Yeah. Well, now that we've found out the truth, we're not going to murder them all. Sometimes you make mistakes. Sometimes the information you're given, like these guys are cleanly must be bad people and you should kill them. Maybe from here onwards, I will look at that as information that I shouldn't exactly just process as they are right. That is how Nick is processing.
Sometimes the intel is duff.
And you were quite surprised at how squishy they actually were for hardened terrorists. You just seem to chop them down here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, but I seem to chop everything down here, there, and everywhere.
That is true. Right, so how does one... Are you waiting these newtlings up by stabbing them to death, or...?
No, we should probably just take them prisoner and take them out front, I imagine, and make sure that crazy ones outside don't just gut them and fillet them or whatever.
Right, all right, so you're waiting them up with sword point and basically saying, oi.
Don't make a fuss, you'll survive if you...
YK!
Yeah, none of them are brave enough to start anything as you wake them up with swords to their throat, so you basically You've got shackles in that room to the south. You could put shackles on them if you wanted, and then ingloriously walk them to the temple in bronze shackle as this sadly clank, 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 and witness the destruction of Quicktail the priest who was taking care of them all.
Blindfold.
It's almost as if I'm deliberately using language as sharpened barbs now, just to taunt you, isn't it?
It's almost like that is the case.
So,
But no, I'll just put a bit of cloth over their eyes and tie the hands. Then they don't have to witness the destruction. They'll be none the wiser.
Okay, so as you head out into the temple, Steve and the G are furiously engaged in discussion, and Steve's animatedly waving his little stone arms about. Ruwajit is standing almost stock still, but you get the feeling that he's like keeping an eye out all around the room for any kind of danger whatsoever. As if he was the world's greatest bodyguard, which he possibly may be. And you walk 3 remaining Newtons, the last 3 bachelors, and you get them outside, and the Duke's Newtons are all grinning their big grins, and they're like, King, we got prisoners, we killed these ones, and they're doing their thing across the throat with their fingers, the little moist fingers.
Killing these Newlands. Just keep them safe, don't kill them. We're gonna continue our search for Dane.
But you have, and then he sort of counts on his fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then counts on his other hand, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 6. And like, we killed some.
No, we keep some. Don't make me angry.
But
okay?
boss, he said we kill all, no survivors.
I'll pull my sword out and I'll stand right up to him and say, if you touch one of those Newlands, I will behead you.
He looks terrified. He's like, okay, you the boss, King.
Good.
Boss
And I'll
King. Oh God, not that again.
put my sword away. Let's go back. We'll see if we can find. There's gonna be like somewhere. I mean, we didn't go to the.
We've got 2 more cave entrances to check.
I guess we do.
Is it worth looking down that hole in the southern, or do you think that's just like a crapper?
It's got a bucket next to it with a rope. And in the bucket is a small amount of water left in the bottom. It's clear water. It's not got turds floating.
So it's like a well.
Well.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll check the other 2 cave entrances then.
Yeah, probably have to go down to the other cave because we've run out of temple.
Yeah, unless there's additional doors that we've been missing in the northern sides or something. I mean, that's kind of just using the map edge as a bit of a.
I mean, on the north of the map, near where that water bit is, it looks like just to the south of it, there's a tunnel that's covered in with like stones and rock and shit. But
Right.
we'll see.
Considering that right fork that is collapsed, I would assume there's like some sort of tunnel. So can I check the walls that will be adjacent to that on the main room and then the northern of the prison cells and the last room we're in, just to see if there's any entrances that might lead out?
It'll take about an hour to check along that wall.
Well, if you
All
check
of us.
that, I've just realised something I need to do that's really important. So can I head down to the Manticore, pick up a couple of Newtons under my arms and drop them off to the Manticore?
He says, "You are efficient. These are delicious. Fresh, too."
There are some of our Newtlings outside that belong to us. Do not try to eat them.
You
There's plenty
wound
more-
me, human. I have much food in here. I will eat and then I will sleep.
Probably a good idea. I'll go and grab you a couple more. I'll drag them in a couple more Newtons in.
All right, so you drag. I mean, you've got plenty. So you've got.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we've got one there. We can drag that one in. We've got like two in there. You can drag.
It's like how they zoom along the map.
I mean, you could just get Bob to drag the whole lot in if you wanted. You've got enough of them.
Just keep burying the guy in Newtons.
Are you okay with that, Ken? Just like so Bobbin, while you're doing this for the next hour, Bobbin slowly drags Newton bodies until the Manticore cave is overflowing.
It's just all Newland.
I'll turn around to the
Newland.
Manticore and say,
What have we
there's
done?
a couple of fully grown angry dragon newts in there. So if they come this way, I wouldn't try to eat them.
He looks around at his enormous pile, almost reaching the ceiling, of dead newtlands, a few of which are missing the tail, the best bit, I might add. And he says, I think I'll be busy. This will last me a few days. And
Good.
like the part lion that he is, he will eat until his stomach is bulging and then probably curl up and go to sleep for a little while. But yeah, look at all of those dead newtlands, Kane. Those terrorists.
You're not going to make it
pursued.
feel bad.
Yeah, they were terrorists, right?
They were terrorists in my mind.
There's another, there is another like 9 dead outside that were murdered as soon as they ran to safety out of the cave. If you could get those, but to be fair.
Go on, let's have Bob and do that as well.
God.
People they'll be like, what are you doing with the bodies? We're feeding them to our Manticore. Oh, you feed them what?
We've kind of employed a Manticore.
We are recycling bin, essentially.
Yeah. Waste disposal.
You are can I just say, you are terrible people. You are awful people. You really are. Right.
If there's no evidence, nothing happened.
Kane says we should search these, and it'll take him about an hour to search by himself.
Well, I'm going to do that.
We'll all help.
Right. You find, Kane, as you shuffle along the wall, a small parchment that has been folded over, so it's got an envelope, and on the front, in a very official flowing handwritten script, is some words written in a language you don't understand. It's not a language that you recognise, but the parchment that's been folded into an envelope has been on the corners, it's filigree, and it's been etched in brass.
I'll pocket that.
But other than that, you all search for 20 minutes, and everybody's sure that there isn't any secret doors to be found.
We could check the south wall of the main temple.
You could spend another hour, yeah. There'd be 4 rooms to split up among. 5 if you include the short corridor.
If you feel like we should, then yeah, I wouldn't do that. I'm good with giving that a search.
So you search along the walls, and again, you find no secret doors. But Bracy, as you're moving through the room, you scrape aside one of the reed mats, and on the floor you find a small hand-carved stone. It's just a small thing that'll fit in the palm of your hand, and it's got some decorative carvings in it, but they don't appear to look like runes of any kind that you're familiar with.
All right, I'll stick it in my back pattern.
But you're pretty sure that there's no secret doors on that area.
We're wasting a lot of time here. Jane could be dying, so we need to get out and check these other tunnels, lads.
Let's do that. Which ones have we not searched?
You haven't searched the very north. Oh no, sorry, you have searched the very north. The one below that.
Yeah, and then
haven't searched the very south.
Okay, we'll go from top to bottom, then we'll just search the second one and see where that leads. I imagine it's not a very...
If you remember in your handouts, Dane had actually drew some maps.
Dane's map. Oh yeah, I remember now.
Right, you stick your heads in this tunnel. Andy, your fire blade's worn off by this point, but you can light a torch if you'd like.
Yeah, I can light a torch.
Can we have a listen up the tunnel, see if we can hear anything?
Oh, that would be sensible. I guess not, is the answer.
I'll check around the entrance for track.
What about that room where the pole is?
Off to the right side, going by the map. Sorry, you're going to say.
The underwater passage.
You find general tracks all up and down this section of the riverbank. It's all the Newtland tracks. There's track backwards and forwards. But there's nothing specifically heading into this cave. Right, you put your head round, but the cave only goes for a couple of meters and then is blocked thoroughly by rubble.
Lads, I've just had a look at the map again. You know that room where that trappy thing was with the sand on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in the next room, there's that sort of beachy bit and the pool of water.
Yeah.
Will somebody have a look at the map and tell me I'm not saying things? Should there not be, according to Dane's map, an underwater passage leading from that pool of water off to the sort of north-east-ish?
Well, if only we had someone who could swim really good to have a look round down there.
Volunteered.
I thought you might.
So you hold your beak and dive into the water. Inside that pool, it's teeming with cave fish and pond life. And as you swim to the back of the cavern,
Are they tasty?
they do look quite tasty, yeah.
Maybe on the way back. Uh-huh.
You see the cave extends further. You notice a strange area of weed at the back, and as you swim closer to the very back of it, you realise there's a net that has been deliberately placed so that the underwater plants have grown up it, and it appears to be covering a small cavern at the back.
Will I be able to have a quick sneaky look through it without alerting anything on the other side?
Pull apart a little bit of the weeds, and there's a fine mesh net. Looking through the other side, it looks like it slopes up and goes back to dry land.
Well, that being the case, I shall paddle back, get out, shake myself like a Labrador, and let the lads know. Lads, there's a bit of extra cave over there concealed behind the net.
Who's a net?
I don't know, but she sounds a lovely woman. The only thing is, yous are all going to get wet getting there.
I'm trying to still work out this Dane's map compared to the one we've got now.
You tilt it slightly to the right. So if you rotate it like maybe 30 degrees or something, it might make more sense.
How deep is this water?
It's not so deep that Andy probably couldn't drag you out and give you a mouth to build resuscitation. It's about 5 meters deep, and you can swim right to the edge, so you'd only have to swim down a couple of, 2 meters down to get underneath.
Is there anywhere on this side to tie a rope off? And then people don't even need to swim, they could just hand over hand along the rope.
No, but there's a load of rubble blocking that tunnel to the right. You could drive one of your pittons into the rubble, because you've got Kane's got about 800 meters of rope.
Mm-hmm.
And the pond's only 12 meters across, so you could stretch a pitton from there all the way around and have plenty left.
I do. I've got 800 or whatever you said. A lot.
It's like all the rope in Pavas. He just went around every rope shop and just bought it all. And then stuck it on Bobbin. Bobbin just looks like a snail, but it's actually just rope making up.
Yeah. I was offered a character that could just hold all me shit, so it happened.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, you're my bondsman. I'm going to look after you to now. Here, hold all of this crap, Bobbin.
Javelins, rope.
Unless the room on the other side is full of nasty, horrible beasties, in which case I'll just hold my breath, hold the end of the rope, and point them in the right direction.
That sounds like a good idea. I can get behind that. Anything that saves me having to take my armor off, put it in a bag, tied to the end of a rope, you guys drag it over, and then I
hand the bag to Bobbin and...
Or do that. See, I wasn't going to do that, but now that you've made it a bit of a meme, then sure, yeah.
Right, so that is not a problem. You can drive the pitton and you can drag the rope round.
I had better swim across then, hadn't I? And whatever horrible beasties in there waiting to eat me, let's get it over with.
Right, so you push aside the net covered in it. You swim up, and then you emerge into a dark, unlit cavern on the other side, so you can only see a little bit around you.
I'll feel around the wall, hoping for some sort of little outcropping type thing that I can tie the rope off to.
Eventually, if you keep heading in that direction, you find a wall.
Is it rough enough that there's some bit of rock sticking out that I can tie the rope onto?
No, there's nothing that you fumble about in the darkness to find.
In that case, I shall just crouch in the corner and give them a couple of tugs on the rope, that being the pre-arranged signal for Howie.
Yeah, I'll go first. I'll take a couple of deep breaths and pull myself along the rope.
It's quite easy. There's no need to roll because you've got a rope set up. It's only you can stay above the water right till the end, so it's only a couple of meters. You easily pull yourself over and emerge into a pitch black cavern.
I'll cast light.
I'll listen.
I'll let Bobbin go ahead and then I'll go last.
You cast light. The room is illuminated. It's a natural cavern. The only feature at the back of the north wall there is a small alcove, maybe half a meter into the rock, and in that appears to be a small pile of glittering gold treasure.
Crap.
Yeah, let's check that.
Just looking, I wasn't touching note.
You can see a small stack of gold wheels, a gold bracelet, and a silver ring that is engraved with runes.
Detect magic and detect traps.
It's not specifically on any of the items, Kane, but there's definitely a trap. Bobbin detects magic. The ring is definitely magical. The golden bracelet is not.
Just be careful because this area is like trappy, but not like, I don't exactly know that there's a trap. More so it just feels trappy.
Right, so you all stand staring at this glittering treasure, wanting to take it, but scared to because you know it's a trap.
Yeah, that's about it.
I have an idea, but it involves us making a net. Oh, we've got a net!
There's millions of nets. There's nets all over. I've described several rooms covered in nets.
Right, we have a plan. We're going net fishing for gold.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there for tonight.